Thank you. I actually had the opportunity to talk to you 2 years ago. And back then I asked you a question. I wanted to know how I could know that I was an eternal being. And back then you said that basically things would show up to let me know about that. At the time I wasn't quite satisfied with your answer. But in the time...
That's because words don't teach.
It's true.
It's only life experience that shows you. We don't really know what we're doing here, actually.
And it's funny because you've told me that. In that time, I have had some experiences that have made me think more, yes, maybe I can see the eternalness of our being. Sometimes, though, it feels a little circumstantial. It feels like, is that just coincidence?
Coincidence is an interesting word, isn't it? Because coincidence is incidences that
And yeah. Incidences, that coincide.
Law of attraction is full of them.
So there's
we know what you mean, though. What you meant was something that was not really indicating what you were wanting it to indicate. It was something that just was happening apart from the answer to something that mattered to you. But everything that is happening to you is coming in answer to a vibration that you've got going on. It's just that sometimes you're not in sync with your own question.
So when you're waiting to hear harps and angels sort of proclaim something very definitively...
Where do you get this stuff?
From you, actually. Yeah, that's it. I liked when you would use that phrase. To simplify, it's the definitive experience, I think, that I'm looking for of maybe communicating with someone. And it seems odd that we play this separation game. And so it would seem like...
However, think about this. If you had not, for a little while, played the separation game, would you really unequivocally know when the not separation game was being played? Didn't you just answer your own question? In other words, can't you show yourself how you can pinch yourself off from your eternal nature? Or you can open yourself up to your eternal nature. But how would you know one without the other?
Right. So it's the contrast that lets you know the experience. Without the contrast,
you see,
there would be no awareness.
It's an interesting thing for Esther because she's been allowing us to flow through her for a long time now. And she knows that we are a collective consciousness. She can feel the bigness of us or the narrowness of us depending upon the deliberateness of the question. She can feel that it's a consciousness that is in flux and that there is some variety in this collective consciousness depending upon what is being asked. And because she accepted us as that which is non-physical, and she knew for sure that she wasn't making it up and that it wasn't something that she was repeating that she had heard somewhere, she knew that she was receiving something that was in the words that we defined to her, or the thought that she defined with words, non-physical in nature. And so she settled into that understanding for quite some time. But when Jerry made his transition into non-physical, now things began looking different to Esther in the sense that she did not want Jerry to just become part of the Abraham soup, because she already understood the Abraham soup. She already had a relationship with the Abraham consciousness. And so once she began reaching for proof is never a good thing to reach for, because if you're looking for proof, then there's enough doubt in your vibration that it can block your ability to see it. But looking for evidence, same thing as proof, but wanting the experience of, and then finding it unequivocally. So when she realized that Jerry, who had been walking around with her, banging around this physical time-space reality, sifting through the contrast, knowing what he didn't want, knowing what he did want, now she's finding him for sure, intertwined with her on a myriad of subjects, feeling the precision that she recognizes as him, because she recognizes the energy and the feel. She knows who he is. There's no question in her experience that he, at least, is an eternal being, because he's still having a really good time. And he's still eager to play with her in any moment that she allows herself to be in the vibrational vicinity of receiving it. She can't miss him and find him at the same time. She can't be in a vibration of thinking of the past, which makes this now feel a little empty, and finding the fullness of what he is now. But there's no question that for Esther, her understanding of her eternal nature has profoundly been influenced by her now daily intertwining with someone who is no longer in his physical body. She knows for sure, you see. So your key words, you were wise in what you said back to us, because you said, I'm looking for communication. It's like I can't really find it. I can walk around here, but how do I really know that I am an eternal being? And then you say, well, I suppose if I'm looking for communication from something that is non-physical, at least I know something else is there.
Yes.
So that's helpful. Really, you have to take the long view. Really, what we want you to know, if you could just hear us as we began here today, talking about this awareness that we all have of you, and this complete attention that we are giving to you. And as you practice yourself into not barricading yourself or blocking yourself from the fullness of that attention, but you allow those coincidences to be profoundly realized by you all day, every day. Before you know it, you will feel like this continuous being that you are. You will realize that the continuum of life is not physical beings being born and passing physical knowledge off to one another. In other words, it's not the stuff that you're learning from each other that really is the continuum of this life experience. It's the eternalness that is you that is broadcasting back into this time-space reality. It's the fullness of the non-physical you that is flowing eternally into that which is physical, out here on this leading edge of creation. So we ask you to take the long view, but how do you take the long view? Well, you have to get less interested in the details and the reaction to the things that are going on in your world, and begin listening for what's coming forth from within. If you will, and this ties so powerfully into the beginning words that we offer to you, if you will decide that you care really, 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 really about the opinion of that broader part of you, and less about the opinion of that one and that one and that one and that one and that one who are physically focused, you will find consciousness that is undeniable. And at the same time you find that, you'll also find your worthiness because of the way we all feel about you. You'll find your continuity because of everything that we know about you, everything that we know about where you've been, everything that you've been asking for, all that you've put into your vortex of creation. In other words, we know where you stand in relationship with everything that you want is. And we are shining a consciousness path. And as you slip in to that vibrational awareness of who you are, then what happens is that sense of totalness. Jerry kept putting on the spines of all of the books, self-help from your total self. He really wanted to emphasize that total self, you see. So what a good discussion we've had about your total self, about the whole of that which you are. When you feel like you're defending something in a comparative way to others, you've got a big wad of guardedness and resistance that is keeping you from realizing in that moment the fullness of who you are. When you're soft and easy and open and appreciating of something, then you're allowing the fullness of who you are to be present in that moment. And in those moments, you never, ever, ever question the eternal nature of your being, because the bigness that you feel is bigger than this one lifetime could ever contain. That's the way Esther's been trying to describe the appreciation that she's feeling for her wonderful team, for her family, for her friends, for all of the beautiful things that are in her world. It's too much for my singular appreciation. The appreciation feels bigger than one vessel can be the conjurer of. She knows that it's way bigger. It's way bigger. She's just tapping into that stream of understanding of who all of these people are and what this is all about, you see. And that's what you're reaching for, too. Mm-hmm. Something more?
I really appreciate you sharing the experiences with Jerry, because that was something I was going to ask about, that sort of communication. Because after I asked you that question 2 years ago, my mother passed away, and much of the community...
Your mother did not pass away. That's what makes
croaked.
you not know you're eternal.
Yeah.
Oh, they've passed away, and they've passed away, and they've passed away. They've gone to Never, Never Land. They've gone to the other side. They have not gone anywhere. They've not gone anywhere. Mm-hmm. Orient yourself accurately. Mm-hmm. You see, how are you going to accept your eternal nature if you won't allow it to your mother?
Absolutely.
Old beliefs you keep practicing, bogus beliefs that you keep practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah.